wundere eigentlich nicht, der Vogel verzählen.
Live from the hippest spot online, you've arrived at the Pop Culture Juke Joint, the only weekly podcast you'll need for intelligent showbiz chats. Located just up the street from the Peach Pit and down that dark, damp alley behind Fonzie's garage, you'll find former newsman and current hard-boiled crime writer Anthony Venutolo, chatting with guests about everything from old school classics to new school staples. So head up to the bar, grab a drink, and settle in here at the Pop Culture Juke Joint. Now, your host, Anthony Venutolo.
Hi, Anthony.
Hey, Jack. You sound a little dejected there. What's up?
We're allowed to curse.
Yeah, we can curse. This isn't one of those other podcasts, Jack. I was following your Facebook post through the game, and I could tell you were starting to sound a little more and more desperate as the game went on.
As the game went on, that final quarter, I was praying for Lady Gaga to drop in from the roof and intercept a Tom Brady pass on behalf of the Falcons. That's how desperate I was.
This guy, he could do it all, right? He's the Boy Scout quarterback who could do it all.
I just can't stand them, though. I mean, I'm a Giants fan, so the Giants are the only reason why Tom Brady doesn't have 7 rings right now.
That's true. This is true. But you know what? This is special because, we're not here to talk about sports. We're going to talk about the fun stuff. We're here to talk about some commercials.
Yeah.
The commercials, the halftime show, and some other fun stuff. So, this is going to be a quickie because this is a little bit of a special episode. So let's get right to it. I've covered, at my last job, I've covered the Super Bowl commercials every year. I mean, for years. And it's a beat that is truly fun. And when people ask me sometimes, like, what's your craziest time of the year, and I always said it's Super Bowl, and they look at me like I'm crazy because I worked in features at the newspaper, and I go, yeah, the Super Bowl Sunday is by far the craziest night because you're covering the commercials, it doesn't stop. You're praying for the game to go on and not go to a commercial because it's like a conveyor belt. These commercials come one after the other, and for the most part, you're live blogging these things. So it's playing catch up all night long. And then after that,
and there's a good amount of work that you guys have to put into it as well. Yeah,
God, I mean, it was just crazy because. Once we were very cognizant of the fact that, the Super Bowl commercials brought web traffic, and then you would write other things like, the best commercials, the worst commercials, the weird commercials, and then, you'd be up till 2 a.m. doing that. So it was always a really busy, fun time. And so when I was, doing this tonight with you, it kind of brought me back to that time because, you're still keeping tabs on all these commercials. And this year I graded a lot of commercials. I never graded the commercials before. I never gave them a score. I guess I should have. I mean, I just gave it a simple score from 1 to 10. But I will say this, Jack. Like I said, I've been doing this a long time. It's hard for me to really like a Super Bowl commercial now in this day and age because, they all seem... I shouldn't say all, but a lot of them seem like they're trying too hard. They're trying too hard for laughs. They're not really creative. Some are just trying to be risque, and a lot of them fall flat. So
they do. I mean, I think the last couple of years prior to this year, there hasn't really been any standout commercial that people talk about the next day. As far as at least as far as I know, there's nothing that has jumped out to me. Today, I thought there were a couple good ones.
You mean you didn't like Puppy Monkey Baby? That's not one of your favorite episode commercials of all time?
I tried my hardest just to forget that commercial. I never want to see that commercial again.
That thing was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was weird. It was just a big fail. I don't like that. Yeah, I mean, the last couple of years have just been kind of awful. I mean, I used to look forward to it. Like, I mean, obviously, I just watched them as a spectator, but yeah, like, I would say maybe like in the last 3 or 4 years, it's kind of tailed off where it's they've been sort of flat, as you said. Prior to that, they usually was at least 1 or 2 standout ones that you kind of that you talk about the next day, and especially if the game is wasn't that great or if it was a blowout, you end up talking more about the commercials than about the game. That's not the case with this game, I imagine.
Yeah, not at all. And you know what? I didn't see Doritos this year. Usually they have a big push every single year. They have they usually hold a contest, and the winner usually has their big game ad to air. Maybe I missed it. I doubt it. I wrote everything down. I didn't see Doritos this year. But let's jump right into it. Let's talk about. Should we do the best or worst first?
Let's do the best.
Okay. Well, right off the bat, we would be nuts if we didn't speak about the 84 lumber commercial. It was a commercial that, actually, before I even say anything else, a lot of commercials played off the immigration theme this year. 84 Lumber, Anheuser-Busch, and Airbnb all had themes of, of
diversity
and inclusion and the American dream and just being in the greatest country in the world. So that was really touching to see in a lot of these commercials. And 84 Lumber was probably, for me, my favorite commercial this year. The ad followed a little girl and her mother on this perilous journey, across the border. Now, it's interesting because the commercial came in 2 parts. You didn't see the second part of the commercial.
Yeah, I still haven't watched. I'll have to go online and watch the rest of the commercial.
Yeah. Now, the ad that aired just kind of ended around with them kind of like during their journey around this, this campfire, and the mother is just really in a bad spot. She's got this little girl with her. Are they going to make it? Are they going to make it to America? So I'll let you watch the second half of the commercial, but it is a beautiful, beautiful commercial. It really captures, the American dream and what wanting to be here is all about. I know there was some controversy about it because Fox did ask them to cut the commercial off, because I think the complete commercial was supposed to air, and I think they were asked to sort of. Well, yeah, I mean, let's face it. I mean, they make it all the way to the border where they see this incredibly gigantic wall, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what they're trying to do here. And, I don't know whether it was Fox or the NFL who actually axed it. But I guess they had to scramble at the last second. But even with them scrambling, it really was powerful. It really was effective. And, I tried to go to the website during the game. I couldn't. I guess their website was crashing, or
Yeah, it did crash. I saw a post that people were trying to get to the commercial on the official website, and they just couldn't get to it because it just crashed.
Well, go to the YouTube page. It's probably a lot easier to watch it from there. All right. So my number 2 would be right along the same theme, the Anheuser-Busch commercial that had the story of Adolphus Busch, on his ambitious journey coming to America, to brew beer. And, he lands in St. Louis, and that's where he meets Eberhard Anheuser. And I'm watching this commercial. It's beautifully shot, and, incredibly historic, and I'm like, wow, I kind of want to watch this as a movie. Like, this is kind of like a cool movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, like, where's Lifetime or History Channel when you need it?
I totally agree. Yeah, that commercial leaked a couple. Well, it didn't leak. They just released it a couple days ago on YouTube, and yeah, it's very powerful, and yeah, it's very tastefully done. You know, a message again. You know, the focus this year appears to be this message of inclusion and the American dream and diversity, and yeah, I think they did a very splendid job with that.
Without a doubt. My next one is a little bit of a funny commercial, and actually it's a really cool looking commercial. It was Honda's commercial for their new CRV, but it included talking yearbook photos of celebrities.
I like that one too.
That was a really good commercial because, you know, I'm watching this, and it looked like it really pushed the envelope. That looked real. It looked freaky. I don't know how they did it. It was just pretty wild. I love that commercial. And, you know, again, it's about being original. And, you know, they took this technology, whatever it is. I mean, I'm sure it's something quite simple in Hollywood, but it looked fabulous. I mean, we saw Tina Fey, Steve Carell, Jimmy Kimmel, Robert Redford, kind of speaking as their high school selves, as their high school photo. It was like really cool.
Yeah, Viola Davis was in it too.
Oh, right, she was in it. I'm hoping I'm not forgetting anyone else. My next one, I was all ready to put on my worst, and it automatically became one of my best. It was the commercial for Buy.
Yeah, I like that one too.
well, the thing is, you know, I saw Christopher Walken, right? And as soon as I saw him, I actually groaned, because I'll get to that in a second. I'll tell you why. I have nothing against Christopher Walken, but I was like, what is he doing? Like, this is just like another one of these dumb Super Bowl high-profile commercials where they just throw tons of money at a celebrity and we get a lackluster commercial. And then I realize, you know, he's reciting the lyrics to Bye, Bye, Bye. And lo and behold, who's sitting next to him but Justin Timberlake. And they're just like looking at each other, and it's bizarre. And they're like in like a sitting room or a library or something. And it's just, it's so goofy. I had to put it on my list. I had to.
It sticks in your mind. I mean, it's not a beverage that I'm familiar with. I don't think I've ever tried it, but now if I come across it in a grocery store, I'm going to remember that commercial.
Of course.
Yeah.
My next one is for Squarespace. Domains and website builders are no stranger to Super Bowls. I mean, you know, we've seen them year after year after year with, you know, Danica Patrick and
the GoDaddy ones usually were the standout ones, but this year it wasn't really that remarkable.
Not at all. But this one with John Malkovich, who is calling another John Malkovich who owns the domain www.johnmalkovich.com, was actually another one of those like kind of dopey, kind of funny commercials where John Malkovich is trying, I guess he's either trying to get his domain back or he's kind of berating or haranguing the guy who owns JohnMalkovich.com. And I thought that was just kind of silly enough to kind of work. Because let's face it, a lot of times you're at a party watching these things. So they're not like me or you sitting at home. People are actually having fun at parties. And you have to follow these commercials, and they have to be kind of simplistic enough where you could actually follow it over the crowd of people that you're with. So I think that actually kind of worked. My next one, I don't know. I got to be honest. I don't know if it was a regional commercial or a actual Super Bowl commercial, but I'm going to put it on my list anyway because I thought it was funny. Cure Auto Insurance. Do you remember that one?
I'm trying to remember. I don't think that one stood out to me.
I'll explain it, and then hopefully you'll go, oh yeah. Guy's at a stoplight. You know, he's gonna walk across the street. He sees his friend from high school, this young girl. He's like, "Oh, Susie, so and so, how are you?" The point of the fact of the matter of the commercial is that he just knew a little too much about her. I guess he was stalking her on Facebook. Do you remember that commercial?
Yeah, now I remember.
And and she was just quickly getting creeped out. The more he spoke, the more creeped out she got. She was like, I gotta go. And he's like, I'll poke you. And, and I guess the point of the commercial is don't follow too closely, and that's the Cure Auto Insurance's tagline, and I guess that's some good advice for all of us, for people who are cyber stalking their high school crushes. So, and I think I have one more left on my list now, and I'd like to hear if any that I might have left off that you might have liked. There's tons of car commercials every year. We've seen a million of them. Yeah. And I almost put on one of the Alfa Romero commercials, but I didn't, because this commercial by Audi just, I think, really, really did it for me. It was a story in the commercials. A young girl is in this like soapbox derby, like a kart race or something in her hometown, and a father's looking at his daughter in this race, and she's going through all the competitors, and he's contemplating whether his daughter's worth will be measured by her gender through a series of questions he's asking himself in his mind. She ends up winning the race. It was a great moment, and it's kind of hard sometimes for a car commercial to really do it for you, because it's easy to cheat with car commercials. You make the car look great, you see it speeding down the road, and you go, oh, wow, that's a great commercial. But this is a great commercial, and I'm a sucker for, parent daughter, father daughter, father son commercials. So I think if it's done well, it gets me, and I gave that a high score. I gave it an 8, I think.
Okay. So that was a touching one.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, this is just my opinion, because I've watched these commercials year after year after year, and a lot doesn't move me. Were there any on your list that you thought were particularly any good?
Aside from the ones you mentioned, I thought the Melissa McCarthy one was good. I think it maybe went on a little too long, but it was entertaining. It held my attention. Like you said, a lot of these are meant to be sort of a party atmosphere kind of thing. So this year I didn't go to a party. Usually I go to my in-laws' house, and we were watching it all together. This year everyone kind of stayed at home and watched it on their own. But that one was fun to watch. And Melissa McCarthy just recently got some notice for playing Sean Spicer in Saturday Night Live, which she was terrific at.
And it was kind of scary how much she looked like Sean Spicer.
It was absolutely scary. I mean, it was uncanny. She's terrific. And this commercial, it was good. It was a car commercial, wasn't it?
It was for Kia. It was Kia's new hybrid crossover.
Yeah, I mean, it had some action sequences. I mean, obviously all CGI and stuff, but I thought it was executed pretty well. And then, of course, the one that I loved was the Stranger Things teaser.
Yes.
It's not an official commercial like for a product, but it's for a show. I mean, then there were other movie trailers as well.
I have a list of those. We're going to go through those in a small bit. But yeah, the Stranger Things commercial that looked like it was going to rock. Second season, without a doubt.
Yeah, I can't wait. And they finally revealed when it's gonna drop on Netflix, which was Halloween. So yeah, that's and just some great images. We didn't see too much, but they gave us just enough to kind of look forward to what they're gonna do.
Okay, so do you want to talk about some of the worst ones?
Yes, let's hear your worst Super Bowl picks.
Okay, well, I won't go into so much detail as I did with the best, but right off the bat. Avocados of Mexico. You know what, man? Any commercial that has a secret society and John Lovitz, and they're trying to sell avocado, like it was just a big mess from beginning to end. Get that out of here. I never want to see it again.
It didn't make any sense. I mean, you could have done something interesting with John Lovitz, have some kind of comedic angle to sell the product, but it just was a mess.
Yeah, what a mess. Number 2 for me was the commercial for the app Mobile Strike with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I'll tell you why. Like, like I said before, if you're going to have a celebrity in your commercial, you got to bring it. And for me, he's using his buzzwords left and right, get to the chopper and all this other stuff. But we see this every week now on Celebrity Apprentice.
Yeah, there's nothing original hearing him say that.
No,
Yeah.
it's not a novelty. They're probably throwing more money than God at him, and I don't understand why. Again, this is the second year he's doing this, I think, for a Mobile Strike. Maybe the third, I'm not sure. But, he's been in Super Bowl ads for this app before. I just don't understand it. Number 3. Now, when I say worst, Jack, I just mean ones that I really don't like. Okay. Yeah. And that commercial that Lady Gaga was in for Tiffany really irked me. Okay.
Yeah, I had a feeling you weren't going to like that one.
It irked me because, okay, I mean, if I was on Saturday Night Live and I was writing a sketch of a fake commercial for Tiffany, it would be that. It looked so goddamn pretentious. And she's playing a harmonica. Okay, that's weird, but okay. It's in black and white like it's an Eternity commercial, for shit's sake. And then she's talking about like the nature of her creativity and how it comes off as pretentious. She always sounds so fucking pretentious every time she opens her mouth, and I just can't stand it.
Yeah, artists talking about their art and their process to sell a product is never a good idea.
It just killed me. Now, it was a good looking commercial, sure, but it just irked me.
Yeah.
Next one. The elephant on a treadmill for wonderful pistachios. Just stop. It's something like if my kid, who's 8, says, let's put a commercial with an elephant on a treadmill, and they made it, and that's what it was. It was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I didn't care for that.
No. And my last one, and then I do have a runner-up, but my last one is Turkish Airlines, Morgan Freeman. It's where a bunch of Morgan Freemans are on the airline.
Yeah, I remember.
And I don't think the ad agency who came up with that brought anything original to that spot. I mean, you have Morgan Freeman for Turkish Airlines. It's almost as if Morgan Freeman has now become a parody of himself. And maybe that was the joke of having all the Morgan Freemans on there. I'm not sure. But again, it's just like, okay, you've got this great actor. Now what? That's how you use him? So I don't know. I think, again, that one fell incredibly flat. Agreed or no?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they had our attention because as soon as you see Morgan Freeman, as soon as you hear his voice, you pay attention because I have great respect for him. He's a great actor, and then he's trying to push this Turkish Airlines, and the commercial itself doesn't really make that much sense, and it goes nowhere.
I was waiting for a punchline. I swear to God, I thought it was gonna someone was gonna yell cut, and then that was like a joke commercial, and then the real commercial was gonna start.
Yeah.
So that fell flat for me. And my runner-up, like I told you, which you probably won't be too happy with, was that Kia commercial with Melissa Mccartney. Yeah, man. I hers an Eco Warrior, getting blasted into the sky, and it was kind of cute and everything. But again,
there were fantastical elements to it, and obviously there's a lot of CGI, and but I found it entertaining.
If 4 years ago when she was like the thing, but I don't know. I'm all Melissa McCarthy'd out. That's just me. But that car does look incredible. I will say that. All right, my last list. I've been doing this now for the past couple of years. I've always put on the weird commercials. They're neither great nor bad, but they're just like fucking odd. Now, I don't know if this counts as a real Super Bowl commercial because anything that airs before the first quarter isn't really considered to be a Super Bowl commercial, even though it airs on game day. But that commercial with George Takei for Pizza Hut.
Oh yeah, oh my.
Yeah,
Yes.
oh my, like he just kept saying oh my through the whole thing. That was just like really weird to me, and then it just started to like anger me. So
I like George Takei.
I
So
like George Takei too.
It didn't bother me, but yeah.
It was the first commercial of a very long night, and I said to myself, if this is any indication of where we're headed tonight, I'm really going to be pissed off. I'm going to be as pissed off as Tom Brady looks all night long.
What got me is he ended the commercial with the word awesome. That he should have just kept it the oh my.
I know that was really weird, right?
Oh my.
Oh my. My next weird commercial was the Scientology commercial. Did you see that?
I don't think I caught that one.
There was a Scientology commercial, and the only reason, because they really hit it very well. They didn't make it seem like it was for Scientology, but you had to really look at the bottom, like with like the website, www.scientology.com or whatever it was. But I'm looking at it. I think it might have aired right around the second or third quarter. A lot of the imagery, because I've been watching that Leah Remini show.
Yeah, so I have to
love it. And there was a dude sitting at a desk holding those two things, where you're being audited, those like cylinders. And I was like, oh my God, that's like a Scientology image. What the fuck is this? And then I'm looking, and then it had all that like creepy, weird iconography and like buzzwords like strength and, be your better self and all this shit. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a Scientology commercial. So that one escaped me. I don't remember that one at all.
Yeah. I might have taken a bathroom break or something.
You might have taken a bathroom break. But it was just a weird one of those like, and if memory serves, I think they advertised a year or two ago.
I remember there was a Scientology ad in the past, and like maybe not last year, but perhaps the year before.
Yeah, without a doubt. My next weird commercial was the one with the horny MILF who was getting all like horny for Mr. Clean.
Oh yeah, that was weird.
Like, okay, like let's just not. Like,
and then it turns out to be her husband, and she jumps on top of him. I didn't need to see that.
Yeah, that was just a dumb commercial. The next one, and I swear to God, dude, I didn't know what the hell this was. It was the Snickers commercial with what's his face?
Adam Driver.
And I swear to God, I thought at first it was like a Westworld parody.
That's what I thought too. That's what they should have went for,
right? And then everything just started falling, and then they cut back to the game, and I was like, okay, what is that?
That made no sense whatsoever.
And it made no sense. And they didn't go back to it, right? There wasn't like a second one.
There were some teasers prior to today. They had released a few teasers with Adam Driver, with a cardboard cutout of Adam Driver, and there were people like auditioning to be in the commercial. That was the concept. And then today would be the reveal of the commercial, but the actual commercial just was confusing, didn't really make any sense.
Absolutely ridiculous. I never want to see that thing ever again. I have two more. I have the next one is for Bud Light for Ghost Spuds McKenzie.
Anytime, I don't know what made them. I mean, it would have been great if they just brought back Spuds McKenzie, and we know the original dog is passed on, and of course, but they should have just, I mean, why bring him back as a ghost? I mean, you just, it just reminds you that you're seeing, like the ghost of a dog. It doesn't.
And I don't know how long it was. It was probably only a minute, but it felt really long. And I'm like, Bud Light for me is either hit or miss. They either knock it out of the park or it's just awful. And I think this was just a big miss for me. Not to mention, I mean, Spuds McKenzie now goes back a little while. I mean, I don't know if that's going to be missed on the modern audience.
I think I don't think anyone under a certain age is gonna they would have to Google Spuds McKenzie to get the commercial.
I mean, maybe that's why they made him a ghost. I mean, it's just dumb. I mean, like the people, they're paid millions of dollars to come up with these concepts. Okay. And that's the best you can do is really scary, which also leads me to my next commercial for KFC Gold.
Yeah.
you know,
There've been a few of those.
yes.
Prior to today,
Yes.
they teased a few of different ones.
Let me just say, this is like, I think, the second or third year where they're trying to revive Colonel Sanders, and consistently on my worst list. They keep trying to like bring the character of the original Colonel Sanders back, and it's not hitting. I don't know. Maybe the rest of the country or the flyover states or whatever, like maybe they're into it, but I just think they get creepier and creepier.
Yeah, I enjoyed Norm Macdonald as Colonel Sanders, but that's about it.
Yeah, and you know what? Here's my theory. I mean, like, I don't know if the goal was to have a revolving cast of colonels, but I think that's what it became because people kept dropping out. It was Norm Macdonald, and then it was it was like just like these A-B comedians, you know what I mean? And then they got George Hamilton last year. Remember that?
Yeah.
Just weird.
And the chicken itself doesn't look that appealing in the commercial. I mean, it's like slathered in this like golden mustard flavored
finger licking gold. That's what it's called, Jack. Finger licking gold.
I like it. Didn't I mean I like KFC, but it didn't make me want to get that product.
Yeah, not at all. Real quick, let's talk a little bit about the halftime show, which I'm going to admit that I wasn't looking forward to, because I didn't know what Gaga was going to do. I thought she was really going to get up on a soapbox, and I really wasn't in the mood for that tonight. But she did the opposite, right?
It was very tasteful, although she did kind of the way it started off, she's on the roof and she sings a couple of patriotic songs. Okay. God Bless America and This Land Is Your Land. What a lot of people don't know is that This Land Is Your Land, written by Woody Guthrie, was written to as a direct contrast to God Bless America, written by Irving Berlin, and it's supposed to, she didn't sing the controversial verses, but a lot of the verses of that song I mean, some might say kind of speak to like kind of a, America being for the working man, kind of a socialistic approach to democracy. Obviously, the main chorus doesn't really, say that, but some people say that this was her way of including a subversive message, kind of like starting out with God Bless America and then segueing into This Land Is Your Land. Of course, you'd have to know all of that music history to kind of get it, but I could see how maybe that was her intention, or maybe that's what she was going for. I don't know if that would have resonated with many of the with the modern audience today, but yeah, it was tastefully done. I mean, it was two patriotic songs, and then we have that drop from the roof. I mean, that's incredible.
My God, you know what? When she did that, I thought two things. Number one, she's gonna die. That's number one, and number two, I thought, where's Pink when you need her? Because Pink is the one who does all these things like elegantly, and she was really high, and when she was up high, I said, all right, well, how is she going to get down? Okay, because remember they did that years ago when Michael Jackson was in the corners, but it really wasn't Michael Jackson.
It wasn't really him, yeah. Right. He came out from the stage on the bottom, yeah.
Exactly, and so I was like, all right, well, she's up there. Okay, did they pre-record this? Like I was thinking all sorts of weird shit, and then she just kind of like dove off, and I'm like, what? Does she just? What's going on?
It took a lot of guts to do that. I mean, no matter what you think of Lady Gaga, I can't imagine. I mean, because even the when Pink did it, I mean, it was very controlled, and obviously, I mean, it takes guts to do it anyway, even the way Pink did it. But this was
high. That was high.
It was very high. I don't think we've ever seen anything like that before for this kind of high-profile spectacle, especially from an artist who's not known for doing that.
Right, and I appreciated the medley she chose. It was the perfect length. Sometimes I feel these shows go on too long. I appreciated the fact that there were no other artists. A lot of times they have these weird guest stars, and you're like, it's like Bruno Mars and then like someone else. And I'm like, well, wait, well, whose show is this? So we only got Lady Gaga. She sang. At least I thought she sang. She sounded like she was singing to me, right?
Yeah, I don't think she was lip syncing to a track. I mean, she might have at some points because of the choreography,
right?
But I think for most of the, especially like the ballad that she went into, you could definitely tell she was really singing.
Right, without a doubt. And you know what? Good for her, man, because she's a musician. And like, do you think Mariah Carey was at home like hate watching it?
I don't know. I mean, who knows what Mariah Carey is doing? She's probably stoned out of her mind.
Probably. And I'm wondering, like, she never performed a halftime show. She would have been a good choice back in the day, huh?
Back in the day, I don't think she would ever get the gig now.
Not at all. But yeah, props to Lady Gaga. I think immediately, it's one of my modern favorites. I wasn't expecting to like it. She amazed me with the dancing, with the singing, with the whole presentation. I really enjoyed it. I may have to watch it again.
Too. I thought it was incredible. Yeah, and I mean, I there's some songs that I'm not crazy about that she does, but for the most part, she's very creative. Even if you don't like everything that she does, she's one of those artists that you kind of you look at her craftsmanship and the artistry that she puts into it, and and it's a lot of work to even just stay on pitch during a performance like that.
Yeah, so. I mean, like she didn't look off once. And so, kudos to her. So real quick, let's talk quickly about a lot of the trailers we saw tonight. Like I said, I've covered this a while, and I felt that there was like a lot of trailers today, like a lot. Let's just go down the list and tell me whether you're stoked or not. We've got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Well, I never saw the first one, so I'm not really that. I know I have to. I know. I know. I can't.
Yes, please. Put that on your list with John Wick. Okay, put that on your list with John Wick, and then we'll chat. Okay.
I looked into. I mean, I've seen clips of the first one, and this trailer did look entertaining.
They're just the perfect blend of action and comedy, and Marvel is really hitting home runs out of the park every time they do something, and this is no different. We saw another trailer for Scarlett Johansson film, which is
Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell, based on the manga franchise and anime series. And like an idiot, I actually thought this was a sequel to Lucy.
It did seem like it had some common elements. Yeah.
I thought it was a sequel to Lucy. I was like, oh wow, is this another Lucy? I'm in. But
I think I would have preferred another Lucy.
I might have too. But I think now she's just reached a level of consciousness now, right? Isn't Lucy just like in the air? Right? Isn't that's what I think.
I think so. It's been a while since I've seen it. But
all right. So the next trailer we saw was Dead Men Tell No Tales, which was the fourth or fifth.
It's the Johnny Depp needs money.
Oh man, does he need money? But this looks a little darker than usual. They got back Orlando Bloom, right? So and you know what? These movies still make money. They still make money,
and it totally I'm perplexed as to why they make money, other than I guess because it's a Disney property.
But not all Disney properties make money, and these cash it in. I mean, I don't know one person that has kept up with this series. I have to be honest.
I have not. I mean, I think I dropped out after the third one.
I think I dropped out after the third one too. I think I might have dropped out after the second one. I'm not sure, but it's been, I gotta say, maybe at least 10 years since I saw one, maybe longer.
I love the Disney ride. I mean, the times every time I go to Disney World, I love going on the ride, and it's one of those rides that because there's usually, if there's no movie, the line isn't that long, and I don't think you can pass it, and it's one of those rides that at the end of the night you can just go on over and over again. And it's
without
really
a doubt. Now I think you can fast pass it, but because last time I was there, we were on a fast pass, but the ride was down. So I was like, we were super pissed off. We had to figure out what to do at the last second. So the next trailer we saw during the big game was Logan, and I know we were speaking about this. I think weren't we the other day?
Yes, we were. Yeah, I'm totally stoked for
Yeah,
Logan. Yeah, any opportunity to see more footage of that film, I'm there.
yeah,
And I think the commercial was very
yeah.
effective, and I definitely enjoyed that.
The next trailer is another one that irks me and perplexes me, I should say. Is the next Transformers film with Mark Wahlberg? What's going on with this series? Like this is it. Like I think this is the last one now. They keep saying that, but like I think this is the last one.
It's yeah. I've never been a fan of them. I think I watched the first one. Like Pirates, it's just not something that appeals to me.
Right.
I know there's an audience for it. I know they do very well every time they come up with a sequel, and they make tons of money. It's just not something that appeals to me at all, really.
Agreed. Now I think you and I may like this next trailer that debuted tonight. Is The Handmaid's Tale. It's going to be on Hulu.
Yes, yeah, that did look interesting. I know it's based on a book, I believe.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Based on the book and starring from Mad Men. But yeah, it looked creepy. It looked like The Village, but like was it modern? But I'm definitely in. We may have to get you a Hulu subscription.
Yeah,
to watch that.
that's one of the ones that I don't have. Yeah, because I know you also followed Homeland, and I didn't have Showtime for the longest time, and now I do. So, there are a few shows that I want to catch up on, but Hulu is the one that I don't have. Yeah.
Hulu's weird. I have Hulu. I love Hulu. I don't watch Hulu nearly as much as I watch Netflix. But Hulu's kind of cool because they have a lot of old shows on Hulu. And I decided the other day to show my kid the Brady Bunch because I didn't think, a couple years ago he didn't like it, but now he does. And they're all on Hulu, all the Brady Bunches. Like, who knew, They have a lot of shows that, like, you haven't seen in a long time, like Wise Guy that was on CBS. Great underrated show in my top 10. Shows like that, shows like Crime Story. So yeah, I mean, if you ever do get Hulu, there's a great catalog on there of stuff that you wouldn't think existed anymore. You know what I mean? Great streaming stuff.
I know they also have another original show, The Path, which has got some pretty good reviews as well, which I haven't seen.
Yeah, so yeah, they do have a handful of really good programming, and the Mindy Project is on there now with new seasons. So it's the little streaming service that could. That's how I'm gonna refer to it. The next trailer is The Fate of the Furious, otherwise known as the millionth entry in the Fast and the Furious franchise. Really, seriously.
Yeah, it literally is the millionth installment. Yeah, that's another franchise I don't really care that much about. I know
I'm a huge Jason Statham fan, and he played the villain in the last one.
Yeah.
I didn't see it because I can't watch these movies, but now I think he's in another one. So like, Jason Statham used to make like a movie a month, okay, and they would pop up on the Redbox or they'd pop up on Netflix.
Yeah.
These really quick, pulpy movies where he is the star. He comes in, he kicks ass for like 99 minutes, and then you move on. But now he's making these like sort of studio movies. He was in Spy with Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, that actually was a good appearance.
Right.
I enjoyed that.
He's in stuff like that. He's in these Fast and the Furious movies. So like, I want to see him just be him again, just be angry and cool and like kicking all sorts of ass. Seriously, I am not joking. That guy made like, go back and look at his on his IMDb. He's made a shitload of movies, man.
Yeah, no, he's a great action star. I mean, and then also we're looking forward to Expendables. He's probably going to be in the next one.
Without a doubt.
I would imagine, yeah.
Without a doubt. All right, so we also saw these weird little snippets for a TV show called Genius, which is, I guess, the life story of Albert Einstein.
Yes, and in the commercial, he plays a Lady Gaga song on the violin. There've been other commercials too. I mean, it's not the first commercial I've seen for that series. There's another one where I think I forgot what other song he's playing, but it's another one where he's playing the violin, and it's a pop song or a contemporary song.
Yeah.
The commercial looks interesting. I just don't know too much about it, and I'm not sure. I'm not even sure who's playing Albert
I don't
Einstein.
either, but it looked kind of interesting. I think I might have seen Ron Howard's name attached to it, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. And of course, Stranger Things. We saw the trailer for the second season of Stranger Things, which is debuting this Halloween. The first season didn't debut that late, right? Didn't it debut over the summer?
It was an unexpected summer hit, I think. Yeah. So I'm totally stoked. I mean, the image where you see like him opening the door and you see like this big alien creature, and you're just wondering what the hell's going on, you know?
Yeah.
And then of course you have the return of 11. I'm really looking forward to this. I can't wait to just dive into season 2 of this show.
Without a doubt. And then the last really good, or not really good, but interesting, funny trailer we saw was for Baywatch with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and what's his face from High School Musical, Zac Efron, right?
Yeah,
Efron?
I think so. I think that's
of course that's him. It looked funny. You know, I'm a sucker for Dwayne Johnson. You know, he's super likable. He can make any project, I think, kind of bearable. And then he was also in the last 2 Fast and Furious films. So, you know, I watch him on HBO's Ballers, which is a show that I'm surprised you don't watch because it's about football, and you seem to be a football guy. And really good show. Really good show.
I might have to check it out. I mean, sometimes I don't know what season it's up to now, but sometimes if I'm too many seasons behind, it gets a little problematic.
There's only been 2 seasons. The seasons are short, and the episodes are only half hour, so you could blaze through a season in 4 days. You know what I mean? And the episodes, like Entourage, were super short. They're like 20 something minutes, and I'm like, it's over already. Come on. But fun stuff. And like Entourage, they have real athletes making appearances and things like that. So I think you'll really enjoy it. So I think that's it as far as the trailers were concerned. Any other observations you kind of want to make?
I like the Coca-Cola commercial. That's another thing, keeping on the theme of the inclusion and diversity. I like that one. Other than that, I'm not sure. I think we covered mostly everything that stood out.
We did, right? It was a long night of football, pop culture, and music. It was like I'm almost exhausted.
Yeah, and obviously it's the first Super Bowl game to go into overtime, I just want to say fuck Tom Brady. I got the cursing out of the way. I just needed to say that. I don't think I can go through this podcast without saying fuck Tom Brady.
He's America's quarterback, Jack. How could you say fuck Tom Brady? I know. They almost had it,
so
dude.
Frustrated.
They almost had it. They almost had it. They almost had it. All right. Well, Jack, it's been fun once again, and hopefully next time we speak, we can probably talk a little bit more about. Let's see what's coming up. Anything on your horizon?
Well, I've been watching Sneaky Pete. That's been
right. I gotta hop on that.
Yeah.
And you also said that you wanted to check out the new 24.
I'm gonna watch it on demand because it was getting late, and I thought this game was gonna end sooner. So I think I'll probably check that out. Also, Taboo on FX is getting pretty good. That's worth checking out. And Netflix also released an original movie with John Boyega, who we know from Star Wars Force Awakens. It's Imperial Dreams, I believe it's called.
That looked amazing.
That looks good.
Amazing. As far as I'm concerned, I tried to watch Arrival twice.
I was wondering about that. I was going to ask you.
No, I tried to watch Arrival twice, and I'm not. And partially, it's my fault. Okay, I shouldn't be popping something like that in when I'm like tired or at the end of a day. You know, twice it's put me to sleep. Now I'm not saying it's boring. I'm just saying twice it put me to sleep.
I found myself dozing off a couple times. I don't think it's I don't think it's just you. Although you might have legitimately been tired when you're watching it. It's not a movie I recommend to watch when you're tired or at the end of the day. It's a movie you have to be very awake. Maybe have a few snacks handy, some coffee, soda, caffeine.
I mean, as you know, I mean, you have a little guy yourself. I mean, sometimes the only time to put these things in is when the whole house is asleep, and then unfortunately when the whole house is asleep, you're tired. But yeah, I think I'm going to try to maybe knock that out once and for all. I'd like to check out maybe Moonlight.
I just feel bad for you having to watch it a third time.
I know.
As you may have guessed, I'm not thrilled about that movie.
No, I know. And it's so weird because, again, I was listening to Kevin Smith rave about this movie. And, you know, I just want to sometimes, like, when someone raves about a movie, I actually then have to watch it because it just makes me, I have to, like, validate whether they were right or wrong. And he was going on and on about this. So
okay, I thought he was going on and on about La La Land.
He was. Well, okay. I was listening to his favorite movies of the year. Okay. And La La Land was on that, and so was Arrival. So that's a good podcast worth checking out. I mean, he's got like 3 podcasts, but this one in particular is called Fat Man on Batman. And he just basically talks pop culture. He talks, you know, about movies and superheroes and, you know, things like that, or whatever else moves him. The guy can speak. You know, you ask him one question, he talks for 30 minutes. So in any case, Jack, this was fun. We're going to do our best to get this online as soon as possible, and next time we chat, we'll chat about a couple of things we just spoke about that we were looking forward to.
Okay, great.
All right, I will talk to you soon, Jack. Thanks a lot.
All right, thanks, Anthony.
Bye-bye.
Enjoyed this episode of the Pop Culture Juke Joint? Then don't forget to tip the barkeep by subscribing and reviewing us on iTunes and Stitcher. Also, for some sizzling noir tales, head on over to Amazon to check out Anthony's hard-boiled fiction, available in print, digital, and audiobook formats. On social media, follow Anthony on Twitter at Anthony Venutolo or like his page on Facebook. For everything else, please visit his webpage at www.anthonyvenutolo.com. We'll see you next week.